Nacho Sundays, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Live on YouTube on the EBL exclusive Battle League Network. Hosted by Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sunday.
Nacho Sundays. Where's Nacho
Sunday.
opinion? It's Nacho's opinion.
Nacho
Hosted by
Sunday.
Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme,
Nacho Sundays. Where's Nacho opinion? It's Nacho's opinion. Hosted by Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Hosted by Fibonacci Brown. Don't forget to go to FibonacciBrown.com to get your copy of Growing Down.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Brought to you by the exclusive Battle League Network. EBL. How was that? Do I sound good? Put a 1 in the chat if I sound good. Okay, I'm seeing audio. I see. This the silent edition, Dave. You funny. Okay, cool. So, as I was saying while I was muted, this is officially the 5th episode of Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And as you may already be aware, we pushed out our show to today because last Sunday was the Kings versus Queens 4 event. And I wanted to attend that event. So I had to make sure that in solidarity with the battle rap community, we attended that event and showed our support. So here we are. I want to first thank you guys in my chat for showing up, even if you show up with the jokes. Also, you guys, it's been a long 2 weeks. It's been entirely too long. Did you miss me? That's what I was saying when I was muted. Did you miss me? Because I missed you guys. I really did. I'm telling the honest to goodness truth. I woke up this morning and I was not feeling well. I'm gonna tell you. I started feeling something, coming on me maybe like late Friday night, and like where I felt like I was getting a little congested. My sinuses were starting to go funny, and it just seems like when the weather changes, my sinuses respond. So I didn't feel good at all this morning when I woke up, but I have been taking something you might season your food with, because like I said, I was having congestion. So I was told that the seasoning thyme, THYME, works really well to help dry up mucus and keep the mucus from building back up. So I have literally been eating little dabs of thyme. And when I tell you this is better than anything I've ever bought out of CVS or Rite Aid or whoever's doing the dealing these days. That right there, much better. No added stuff where you don't know what it is, just one herb. So thyme to dry up mucus, and it helped me tremendously. Like if you would have heard me this morning, you wouldn't know how I got from there to here. Let's just say that. So again, welcome to the 5th episode of Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And I want to first give some announcements. Listen, I think that when we think about some of the things that we like to watch on YouTube, and we think about some of the things that we want to see on YouTube, sometimes we only see the faces that are in front of us, and we don't always know what goes on behind the scenes. Like it could be a whole production where several people might have their hands in trying to make a good production for us to see on YouTube. So I want to take this time to shout out Commodity. EBL Commodity is, again, as I like to say, an EBL treasure. If you want to check out some of his work, Commodity, as well as being tech savvy, he also writes music, R&B music, as a matter of fact. So, so if you want to check out, oh, that's my baby. He getting ready to leave out the door. Anywho, if you want to check out some of Commodity's music, check him out at commodityproductions.com. And you can also hear some of his music when we do our halftime intermission. Commodity is the Nacho Sunday song. So if you just want to check him out on the intermission or go straight to his .com, feel free. But Commodity is, I feel like he just definitely doesn't get enough praise. So I'm trying to give you your flowers, sir. Shout out to you. We also have our friends over at Is We Poddin', who also have a podcast in partnership with EBL Networks. And they have the 4th round where they do fire interviews with some of your favorite battle rappers. We're talking C3. We're talking Danny Myers. If you haven't seen those those interviews, please check those out on 4th round with our Is We Poddin' family. That's Caliber, Marabi, and Ty. Great interviews, fire interviews. Both guests I hear invited themselves back. So I can't wait to see where that goes. And I'm looking forward to some more interviews. I hear that they have something cooking with some more of your favorite battle rappers, top tier. So stay tuned for that. I also want to give a shout out to my friend who is another EBL treasure, Oflo Freestyles. Now, if you are an EBL and you don't know who Oflo is, shame on you. You do not pass the exam. You flunk. You have to go back and take the test again. Oflo Freestyles, if you don't know who he is, make sure you check him out on Twitter. He has the hottest freestyle show on Twitter called Beats, Bars, and Buds. Make sure you go over there. It's unreal what he's able to do off the top of the head with rhymes and rap. So if you want a treat, check him out. If you brave, go ahead and freestyle along in the cypher with him. But either way, make sure you head over to Beats, Bars, and Buds on Twitter, the hottest freestyle show on Twitter. Also, shout out to me. I wrote a book called Growing Down, the masculinization, the observation of the masculinization of the Black American woman. And if you want to check that out, go ahead and head over to FibonacciBrown.com. And right now I am sending out autographed copies for an introductory rate of $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And once this batch of books is out of stock and I have to reorder, the price will go back to regular price and those copies will not be autographed. So make sure you head over to FibonacciBrown.com and check me out. I am actually a published author. Also, I'm going to be putting out an album this summer, and that album is going to be called Scription Volume 2. For those of you who follow my page prior to Nacho Sundays, you know that I put out an album in 2020 along with my husband called Scription Volume 1. And we have the Volume 2 of that series of albums coming out this summer. If you like Maturated Mind music, if you're ready to really hear some music that speaks to your soul through rap, through singing. Check me out this summer. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Speaking of albums, do yourself a favor and check out West Seattle Menace by one of EBL's other treasures, Wayne Almighty. That album is amazing. I don't even think he knows how good it is. If you go over to YouTube and put in West Seattle Menace, all of the songs on the album will come up. Sounds great in the car. Roll the windows down. Weather is getting hot. Roll the windows down and play that. You won't regret it. I see my chat is going bananas. I got a few more announcements and then I'm gonna get into our Nacho. I missed you guys. Did you miss me? I really feel away, like, but we here now. But I was really like, I kind of wanted to talk to y'all last week. We got a lot to catch up on. Anywho, continuing with our announcements, don't forget to check out King's Court on the EBL network. That is with EBL's very own King. He is hosting a show where I'm not going to say anything goes, but I'm going to say it's entertaining. Make sure you head over to the EBL network to check that out. Also, if you are not looking at Wave and Blaze in the morning by now, what are you doing in the morning? It's got to feel lonely because everybody I talked to and seen, they headed over to Wave and Blaze. That is a good time in the morning. It gets you through your day. Topics can range from left to right. So make sure you're checking out Wave and Blaze every Monday through Friday every Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. until these shows I've heard can go over 2-3 hours. Sometimes they have takeovers where our Is We Poddin' family comes and takes over Wave and Blaze from EBL Dave, and those shows are equally as interesting. So make sure you head over to the EBL network to check out Wave and Blaze, the fourth round, King's Court, Nacho Sundays. Make sure you check out Commodity Productions. Another one of our unsung. We have a moderator at the Wave and Blaze morning show who she really holds us down. She's putting information in the chat. She's making sure you guys remember to like and share. Please make sure you check out Queen Mo Fire, and that's MOFIYA. Forgive me, but it's Queen Mo Fire Creations. Queen Mo makes sure she puts everybody's information that is participating in the show in the chat. So if you're not able to click over to the links, she's got it right there for you in the chat so you don't miss it. Way underappreciated. She is dope as a moderator. So please, again, check out Queen Mo Fire Creations. I'm sure you can find her on Twitter. You definitely can find her in the Wave and Blaze family in the mornings. I think that's going to do it for our announcements. I'm going to slide over to the chat because my chat is really going crazy. Let's see what's happening. Okay. What's going on, Jules? I appreciate you pulling up with me. Again, you are watching Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And I am your host, Fibonacci, Big Nacho Brown. I see you in the chat, Wayne. Thank you. So yes, I was really feeling under the weather. I have been literally eating thyme, THYME. It's an herb that a lot my Italian family maybe you guys can relate to this. It's usually used in a lot of pasta dishes. So as an herb, it does add flavor to the food, but it has excellent medicinal use with drying up a lot of that mucus. So I'm glad that I have what I have, because I haven't had to take anything over the counter. I don't like pills, so if I can find a way to do something natural for my body, I would much rather do that without the side effects. Okay, 1010, I see you. Thank you for pulling up with me on this Nacho Sundays. You guys could have been doing anything, and you're here with me. What do you guys think about kings versus queens? I know it's probably been talked about into the ground, but goodness. I mean, I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys last week, so it's been pent up opinions. So let me hear it. I appreciate you pulling up with me too. I see you with the flame emojis. Okay. Okay, Luke, I see you. I appreciate you pulling up with me. So we're going to get into the beginning of our Nacho. Now, I know it's been a long time, but if you guys can remember a few episodes ago, you heard me talk about being able to have an option with college, maybe looking at an option to get a certification as opposed to tying yourself to a debt for something you might not be passionate enough to pay that debt off if you happen to do student loans, right? So I think that I have found a jewel for you guys that may be a compromise for both sides. Both the I don't want to go into debt, but I do want the education. I have found something called University of People. This is a tuition-free, completely online university. You can check this university out at uopeople.edu. That's uopeople.edu. Completely free college. The only thing that you would be required to pay the cost of are the exams. And from what I've read on this website, you can actually get a scholarship to cover that cost. So this college is completely free. And I haven't found any like outside of this program. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, what kind of education could you get from a free totally online college? Well, this college offers degrees from each range up to a master's. So you can get an associate's, you can get a bachelor's, and you can get a master's degree. As long as your studies are business, computer science, or health. So they do have a limited program scope, but if your focus is maybe tech or looking for a flexible schedule that isn't so taxing on your wallet, maybe you want to check this out. Now, this free college, they have partnerships. Listen carefully. University of People has partnerships with NYU, Harvard Business, and McGill. So we're talking about all degree levels and partnerships with highly accredited schools where this school itself is American accredited. Now, if you're trying to go overseas or something like that, maybe this is not the program for you. However, if the scope of what you're doing is in the United States, look at this. We're talking free college, no debt attachment. You don't have to worry about something following you to ruin when it comes to your finances. So free school, all degree programs, partnerships with highly accredited schools. And then get this, it is also accepted as legit by Apple, Tesla, Google, and Amazon. So that's all the major tech companies. So if you're looking to be recognized for your skill level, maybe in these fields, and you don't really have the commitment level to do a student loan, or you just really can't afford it, maybe you want to check this out. There are some limitations considering the scope of what you can major in, but under the circumstances, I don't think this is a bad do. So I really hope that you guys check this out. I also read on their website that they have 3-year bachelor programs. I know many of the programs that are available, no matter what school you go to, those are going to be 4-year programs. So this school offering a 3-year program, which is like an early graduation, along with the recognition of these high-level tech companies, as well as being accredited in the States for free. Even if you did have to pay for the exams, I can't imagine that the exams would be any different than what you would find in what a certification. So if this is how maybe there's a new way to roll out education, maybe look into this. Maybe other schools will get the hint, because I just don't understand the point of attaching so much debt to your young self that takes so long to shake when there's an option out there to go to school for free and get certain recognitions that you would gain with a paid school. So again, that's uopeople.edu. You can check out their degree programs. This is a free, completely online school. At most, you would pay for the exams. However, if you read through their website, they offer scholarships where you wouldn't even have to pay for that. So please look into this free college. Why didn't I know this 20 years ago? There was no such thing. So if you check that out and it works for you and it's working out for you, please make sure you come back to Nacho Sundays and let me know. I would love to hear your success stories for any of the nacho cheese tips that I share with you on Sunday. So if it's working for you, let me know. All righty, you guys, let's get into our beefy nacho. The beefy nacho is where we can discuss conflict in the world, no matter where it may exist. And this week's beefy nacho, we are going to talk about America versus the ouchie. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to get my channel flag. You know what I mean. What's going on? Now, the last I heard is that there has been a release of information where the question has come up, where are the origins of C19? And in trying to determine those origins, Dr. Ouchie has definitely come up as a culprit to these origins, where I have read there has been question about if Ouchie funded these programs that look to enhance certain viruses, which I'm reading is called virology. Ouchie has been actually moving away from trying to take claim of funding specific studies in this area. The problem with that is that back in 2014, from what I read in this article is on Newsweek. It's called, let's see. It says Fauci says he's always been honest as COVID origins questions raised. So this article is talking about how he is, what in Nacho's opinion, is basically responsible for funding a lot of the studies that ended up contributing to the pandemic. You understand what I'm saying? This is Nacho Sundays, 5th episode, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. And that's what I think happened. And from what I read, the way that the funding would go for these projects is that Dr. Ouchie would actually fund one project, and that project would have a sub project that's doing virology projects. So where Ouchie might have said, you guys can have $3 million to work on your project, 600,000 of the 3 million went to a sub project that's C19 related. And I believe the specific animal was bats. So if you read through the article, again, is Fauci says he's always been honest as COVID origins questions raised. I think he's trying to split hairs. I think he's trying to play games with us and be like, I didn't fund it just because I knew the people who knew the people that wanted to fund it. Like he thinks his hands are clean. Matter of fact, let me know in the chat. Do you guys think that his hands are clean when it comes to what he's contributed to studies regarding C19? Because I don't think he can actually just throw his hands up and say, well, it wasn't me. He's been the face of this whole thing when it comes to the questions that we as America have regarding this whole pandemic. So you can't go running now like, no, I didn't fund anything. Well, what did you do? Because if you're the leading doctor and you are the one who is spearheading, being the face of the public engaging this whole thing, how can you act like, well, no, I don't know anything, when your name is on the funding that gave the funding? Like, make it make sense. You guys check out the article. Again, it's on Newsweek. I'm hoping that you can get over there and read through some of the things that I read through. There were some specific numbers, specific animal testing, and I don't think it leaves Fauci clean. Now, if you remember back a couple of episodes, I was talking about reparations, and I talked about reparations for the crack era pandemic. And a lot of people, I think, overlook that because they're still focused on slave reparations. Well, I think reparations instances are coming so fast that we're not even paying attention to them. So here on Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion, it's Nacho's opinion, and we are here on the 5th episode. I think America might be owed some reparations for this whole C-19 pandemic. That's just my opinion, but I've seen a lot of things that are tied to fallout from this whole thing. Things like this whole sudden deletion thing that's going on. People are just falling out. I know there was some discussion about what happened with the athlete Damar Hamlin. So I think there may be some room to really look into this as reparations because they went hard. It was a campaign. I don't see clothing retailers go this hard when it comes to campaigning, getting the ouchie. So I would be interested to know you guys' thoughts because in my opinion, we might be owed reparations for that. Because that was a bit much. People was looking down their nose at you if you didn't want to take it. Nobody looks at you out the side of their eye if you have a headache and you're like, I don't want to take an aspirin. But say you don't want to take the ouchie. People was looking at you like you stank or something. Like it was bad. And it's like you put a lot of this information out here, you give it information overload, and then you just kind of throw your hands up. Like I haven't seen Mr. Ouchie as much with since this whole calm down of the pandemic. So I think he's got some explaining to do. His hands aren't clean. Let me get a sip of tea. I usually sip water. It's gonna be tea today. Like I said, you guys, I wasn't feeling good this morning, but I have been taking care of myself on some DIY. I don't want to take any pills or anything over the counter. So I've been sipping tea and eating time, and it's been working. So I'm going to stick with it. Let me slide over to my chat. Hello, SK. I see you. I appreciate you pulling up with me on Nacho Sundays. Yes, Wayne. The whole Tuskegee experiment. You have to understand that just because it is the government, it doesn't mean that they're going to stop doing things they've already been proven to do in the past. An example of that is the Tuskegee experiment. If you're not familiar with the Tuskegee experiment, please educate yourself. It is where several Black men contracted syphilis and were denied proper care to address that disease in an effort to see the progression of the disease through observation of these sick doctors and scientists. And to think that that is something not so long ago that could be done, and they wouldn't go so far as to give you rhetoric about an ouchie. Don't let it go over your head. Don't let it fly past you, because they will absolutely do that. And because we haven't really pushed for the reparations that we talked about with the crack era reparations, with the slave reparations, we still got crack era witnesses. When I tell you the witnesses for this whole ouchie are sitting next to you right now, before they start having this sudden deletion issue, get their stories, get their symptoms, connect the patterns for yourself. Stop waiting for the television to tell you, oh, well, we discovered this happens when you've gotten the ouchie. No, talk to people, get the conversation going. You can't feel like your only education can come from a doctor who threw his hands up and was like, well, no, I don't know anything. He's trying to deny even funding things that he's been tied to funding. So if you're going to trust that somebody like that, who I don't honestly think he took the ouchie. Like, do you put a one in the chat if you think ouchie took the ouchie? I on Nacho Sundays, where's Nacho's opinion? I don't think he did. I don't think he took the ouchie. I think he was used as a marketing campaign. I think they went overboard because they had huge support, i.e., the president, i.e., big government, big campaigns, billboards, you name it. Other businesses were getting on board with supporting this whole thing. So I really think that it was a whole systematic rollout. So we've got to figure out how to get around this, people. I know some of the people were asking me about the what do you do if you've gotten the ouchie and you don't want to like continue getting the ouchie. And my suggestion was to look into herbal care, specifically bentonite clay, which is known to pull heavy metals out of the body. If you run down that rabbit hole, you might also find some other herbs that can help. But if you bought the initial bait and you've changed your mind, there may be some things that you can do. So I'm going to go over here to my chat. Wayne is laughing at me saying Dr. Ouchie. 2-1 is laughing at me saying Dr. Ouchie. Oh my goodness. Okay, Luke Kane, you said you're trying to get an associate. Check out University of the People and let me know if they have something that can work for you. If you're looking in the field of business, health, or computer science, that might be the program. I'm suggesting it because it's free and nobody deserves the financial burden of student loans. So if that works for you, let me know. Right now, we are going to take a small intermission and give some shine to our sponsors, and we will be right back.
You are now listening to the Nacho Podcast, brought to you by the EBL Network. If it ain't exclusive, it don't matter. It's not your time to talk, it's time to listen. So pull up to the table with your plate and pay attention. It's not your time to talk, Nacho Sunday. It's something different. This is not your opinion, and you don't wanna miss it. It's not your time to talk. It's time for the show.
A woman is the most potent expression of feminine energy in the harmonic equation of the human experience. Growing Down, an observation of the masculinization of the Black American woman, Volume 1. Get your copy at FibonacciBrown.com.
Wayne, I appreciate you because I did not know I was muted. So yes, now that you can hear me, we are going to get into the veggie nacho of our show. And in the veggie nacho, we talk about health. And in this week's episode of the veggie nacho, we are going to talk about diet. Now, I know some of you may be thinking diet, that could mean a plethora of things. Some people are on pescatarian diets. I'm vegetarian, so some people could be on a vegetarian diet. Some people just may not care. However, the diet I want to talk to you about is the diet of your eyes and the diet of your ears. What are you seeing and what are you hearing? So when we think about diet, let's keep it in food just to draw a comparison. You if you want to eat healthy, thank you, Wayne. I got a thumbs up. You guys can hear me. That's great. Okay. So when you think about your food diet, you want to eat healthy, you start to eat things like more vegetables, more fruits, more good grains, more juice, more fruit juices, things that are healthy for you, organic, made by God, right? Well, what would that be for your eyes, so to speak? What are the vegetables and fruits of the eyes? And when I'm asking you that, I'm asking, what are you taking in on a daily basis? What are you seeing? Are you spending a lot of time looking at things that aren't investing into what you want to do with your future? Now, are you saying to yourself, I want to be in the music business. I want to be a producer. And when you say that to yourself, are you doing things toward being a producer, or are you just sitting on your phone scrolling and liking posts from other producers who are doing what you're not doing? So when you're feeding yourself through your eyes, what are you doing to see this progression toward what you say you want to do? Because eating all the vegetables in the world won't make you take an action toward doing what you're saying you want to do with your future. So if you're not looking at the right things, if you're not encouraging your spirit towards what you say you want to do, you can't really expect you're going to have these magnificent outcomes when you're not even pouring into yourself. I know sometimes people who I see this online a lot. I see people who spend a lot of time arguing with strangers online about trigger topics. And I'm talking about racial issues, politics, trigger topics. And they're spending this time arguing with people that they don't know, or who they've only engaged in an argumentative way. They haven't really had a chance to talk to this person outside of being in opposition to them. And doing that on a daily basis, you can find that you start to have a negative energy permeate throughout other places and areas in your life. So to think that you can spend all this time arguing with people that you just see in your phone and on your social media, and think that you can bring positive energy from that into the rest of your life, you have to understand that there's a connection there. You have to be able to see you can't pull a positive from something like that when you're not even feeding the right things into your vision. Equally, same as with what you listen to. If you are spending time listening to other people argue a lot. Now, I know sometimes it's real entertaining to be a fly on the wall. I get it. I'm not trying to say, that you could just turn around tomorrow and start listening to all the gospel music. I'm not saying that. And shout out to gospel music. I'm not saying anything against them either. What I am saying is that if you spend a lot of time listening to negative things, if you're speaking negative things over yourself, hearing your own voice is the most powerful thing you can ever hear. Let me ask you a question. And again, thank you guys for pulling up with me on Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho Opinion. It's Nacho's Opinion. This is the 5th episode. And I appreciate all you guys showing up with me. Again, I told you guys in the beginning that I wasn't feeling well, but I'm over here drinking all the herbal teas and lemons, and I'm eating the seasoning thyme, which is great for drying up mucus, and it's working. So I don't know if you guys can tell, like I'm a little congested, but I feel amazing considering. Like this could have really went left. But anywho, back to what I was saying about the things you're listening to. Let me ask you something. When you hear that voice inside yourself that says, hey, don't do that, or wait, why don't we think about this? Is that a voice that you don't know, or is it your voice? Exactly. I know I hear me like, hey, don't do that. So if you can connect that to knowing that your voice, what you say over yourself, is some of the most powerful things you can say to manifest something, you would say more powerful things over yourself and about yourself. When you have somebody who says, I'll never have a car like that, or I'll never get a dream job like that, you're heard in absolute. You kind of say that over yourself. And if that's not what you really want, you don't say that. So you got to say more positive things over yourself. So the diet of what you're hearing is equally as important as the diet of what you're seeing, which is equally as important as the diet you are eating. So when you think about diet, understand it's not just food, that there is soul food, there is audio food, there's visual food. You can't look at awful images all day and not think that that sits somewhere inside of your subconscious ready to pop out when you least expect it. So it's important that you feed good imagery to your brain, that you have good visuals, because you don't want something sitting in your subconscious that really doesn't have to be there when you have an opportunity to replace those things with some good imagery, especially if it's imagery that supports something you want to do in your future. It's reinforcements. I'm going to slide over to my chat right now. I see you guys are going in right now. Thank you, Dave, for telling me about the microphone. I appreciate you. Mailman said, yo, I'm trying to buy a book, but I don't use Apple Pay. You should be able to use Cash App, if I'm not mistaken. If not, if you hang out in a little bit, I will definitely get with you to make sure you get a book. I'm not sure why it's limiting you to Apple Pay. I do have other sales that aren't Apple Pay. So yeah, let me get that figured out for you. Hello, Shrugs. Thank you for pulling up to Nacho Sundays. Where's Nacho Opinion? It's Nacho's Opinion. This is the 5th episode. Okay, I see Mailman says online gives people a false sense of security, so they feel comfortable talking crazy to people. You know what, Mailman, you have a point right there. And again, we have to be mindful of the things that we are taking into our eyes and listening to, because just like you can have imagery that sits in your subconscious, you can hear something that can sit in your subconscious that can mess with you. I know a lot of times when I see those rags to riches stories from different celebrities, there's always some teacher, some counselor, some adult that didn't believe in this celebrity, that said something awful to them, that stayed with them. So what you hear can definitely have an impact on your drive, your psyche. So it's very important to be mindful of your audio diet. What are you saying to yourself? What are you listening to? What is the environment around you when it comes to what people are saying about you? Are you in a place where people are encouraging you? Are you in a place where people care about seeing you win? If not, you might want to reevaluate, or at least be mindful enough to say, okay, I know I'm going into this environment, so let me be prepared. I know I might have to, put my armor up. And same thing with the visuals. I know a lot of times I've been seeing a lot of young people who like to turn their cameras on social media, and they're flashing weapons and pulling up on people. And these things aren't turning out so well. People are getting hurt. And it's these visuals, it's the way that people want to be seen, and needing such a negative a negative reputation, it can have a negative impact on the soul, on the psyche. So you got to be careful about what you take in through your eyes, what you take in through your ears, as well as what you take in through your mouth. Matter of fact, if you guys remember when we talked about water a few episodes ago, we talked about the different kinds of water. The waters, when we talked about the doctor who did the experiment, who said three different or had three different affirmations for the rice plants in the water. The one plant he said thank you to was fragrant, it blossomed, smelled wonderful. The one plant that he said something negative to, like you're stupid, or he said a negative statement to it, it turned black. And the plant that he ignored just rotted. So if you think about that, let's say you have a bottle of water. I know some of you guys might, keep a bottle of water around you. Let's say you have a bottle of water and you are at your dinner table. Maybe before food is served, you're having a conversation about something you saw online. And that maybe that conversation was negative, and you're holding this bottle of water and you're like, and then she was like, and then she said, so I was like, girl, and then they said that, and he said that she ain't this, and you're holding this water. What you're saying, based on what that experiment proved that we did with the rice water has memory. And if you're speaking, holding onto your water, saying these things, you're 70% water. So if you're speaking this in the environment or in the diet of your ears, as well as the water you're going to drink, think about how that might affect you, especially over time. So in this episode of the Veggie Nacho, today's takeaway is that there are more than just the food diet. You have a visual diet, you have an audio diet. You need to be as mindful of what you take in through your ears and your eyes as you are what you eat. It all matters. Let me slide over to the chat here. Okay, I see Diddy in the chat. Diddy, I hope you were able to catch the beginning of the show. I was trying to give you your flowers. You are definitely an unsung EBL hero. Hi, Phil. I appreciate you pulling up to Nacho Sundays. Thank you. I see you, Ben. Ben just put the eyes in the chat. Okay. If you are looking at the bottom of the screen where I have pinned Mailman's comment, you can get a copy of my book, Growing Down: An Observation of the Masculinization of the Black American Woman, over at FibonacciBrown.com. And for a limited time, I am offering these introductory volumes with autographs at an introductory rate. So if you hurry over to FibonacciBrown.com, that's FibonacciBrown.com, you can definitely get your copy at the introductory rate of $19.99 plus $4 shipping. I am also signing those copies, so you get an autographed copy, and that is also for a limited time. Once I am out of that batch of books, I am definitely going to have to take the price back up to regular price, so it won't be at the introductory rate anymore. But again, head over to FibonacciBrown.com to get your copy. So moving ahead, we have reached the Nacho Supreme portion of our show. And in the Nacho Supreme, we talk about knowledge nuggets, life nuggets, things I wish somebody would have told me when I was younger, things that have helped me through life. If I can share that with you, I would love to be able to definitely impart that to you on the Nacho Sunday show. And this week's Nacho Supreme, the nugget is going to be self-accountability. Now, I know that's kryptonite for some people, but here on Nacho Sundays, whereas Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion, we need self-accountability. I am finding that it's difficult sometimes to run into somebody who's comfortable in self-reflection. And let me be clear. Comfortable in self-reflection means you're not having this awakening that you're trying to tell everybody about. Oh, I'm getting into self-reflection. I'm going to be. No, you're so comfortable in self-reflection that you know that it's an internal journey. You know, it's not necessarily something you want to share with whomever you're among all the time because it's intimate. So self-accountability is intimate, and it begins with self-reflection. So I'm finding a lot of people are not comfortable in self-reflection. They're usually sticking their toe in the water. It's a new thing for them. So I think we need to spend time to, if we're going to look at growing and maturing, we need to understand self-accountability is housework. It's the vacuuming and the washing of the dishes of the soul. It's necessary. It's not something somebody should have to tell you to do. You should already be in the process of being self-accountable. So when it comes to self-accountability, self-reflection is absolutely necessary. One sign that you might need to step back is when you are maybe venomous to other people. You're experts on the flaws of other people. Now, sometimes maybe you're reading somebody. Okay, maybe you just got an insight that they need a read or two. So if that's the case, I'm not trying to say that you are on or off in that instance. But what I am saying is that if you can be passionate about the flaws of another person, you should be able to be as equally as passionate about correcting your own flaws. So if you are going after people and you're being just daggering in how you're talking to them, and you're not willing to have that same moment with yourself in the mirror, you might need to look into some self-accountability and self-reflection. I see you, Mailman. Mailman is asking, what is my IG? My IG is Fibonacci Brown. I'm going to pull it up on my phone so you guys can see it. Forgive me for my tech savviness or lack thereof. But yes, let me pull it up. I'm going to show you on my phone. And that way, if you guys want to head over to my IG, I know most of the time I'm usually active on Twitter, but could definitely catch me on IG if necessary. So it's, well, how do I go over there to show you? There we go. That's going to be Fibonacci _Brown, FIBONACCI _BROWN. So if you want to check me out on Instagram or on IG, that's how you find me. Anywho, so getting back to our self-accountability in the Nacho Supreme, which is the knowledge nugget of our show, we also need to look into the delusions that we might feed ourselves when it comes to being self-accountable. You might want to make sure that you aren't trying to force something on other people that you haven't even spent time pouring into yourself. Some things take more than talk. I know that talk is a part of it, but you can't always think that the way to get through things is to just do a lot of talking. There's a thing called show and prove, and being self-accountable, you get to check yourself before somebody else has to. So when we talk about self-accountability, think about those things: self-reflection, going harder on other people than you reflect on yourself, and feeding into delusions that excuse me excuse me feeding into delusions that you yourself don't put the effort into, but expect other people to believe. It takes more than talk. It takes you doing the work, doing the intimate work of looking at yourself and saying, am I living up to the things that I put out there? Am I am I harder on other people than I am on myself? This kind of stuff matters. So if you are not going to if you're not going to consider yourself when excuse me, y'all, these sinuses is trying to have a way with me. Maybe that did the trick. If you are not going to have a relationship with yourself that you want to force on other people, consider doing the intimate work of self-accountability. If I knew sooner about being self-accountable, I wouldn't have had to get humbled by other people. I wouldn't have had to get humbled outside of my home if I was if I was self-accountable already. If it was already a part of my makeup and work, I wouldn't have had to get humbled because of me not wanting to face certain things that were, for lack of better terms, blatantly obvious. And if I would have done the self work, nobody else would have had to tell me. I would have been able to do it myself. So I am looking at the chat, and that's okay. So from what I'm seeing in the chat, some of my EBL family is in the chat supporting me, and I understand there are other things going on. So I appreciate you guys for pulling up and supporting me on Nacho Sundays. I missed you guys. I enjoyed the Kings versus Queens event. If you guys would like to give me some of your opinions about some of the battles in the Kings versus Queens 4, I'm here for it. I know that coffee and twerk battle. Listen, there were some things I did not have to know about either one of them. Okay. So that battle definitely it seared me a little bit. Remember, we were talking about the things you hear, you know, the diet of your ears. I could have lived my whole life without knowing anything about twerks. Ooch. You understand? So they could have left that out of my life for real. Like, the shock factor was there, but I'm good. I understood that a lot of people felt like the Kings smoked that event. I don't know if I'm a part of the unpopular opinion, because I think the Queens smoked that event. I think Hustle absolutely did her thing. We all know Shuni started the event going in. So I loved Casey's round. Like, I don't know what people were saying. You know, it seems like they were trying to only highlight the stuff that DNA was saying, but I like Casey's round. I think when she was like at the 2 fire, like she killed it. I appreciate it. I appreciate what she brought to the table. I think the Queens took that home. Let me know your opinions. I'm not just gonna give it to the guys because they're guys. They have cleaned up in the last 3. And I'm not saying that it's time that the ladies get one because it's just time. Like, I don't want it to seem like they got a W because of default. Those ladies really earned it. They brought the energy, they brought the bars, they did not back down, and I'm giving it to them. I'm giving that Kings versus Queens to the ladies. So if I'm a part of the unpopular opinion, oh well, fight me. This is Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. So that's what we doing over here. I appreciate you, Phil, saying good talk. I hope it was some good stuff in there. I don't know if you were able to see the show from the beginning, but I did have some good stuff in the cheesy nacho that will definitely save our future college students some money when it comes to going to college. Salute Dark Matter. Okay, I appreciate you pulling up with me on Nacho Sundays. We are at the end of our show. Again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Fibonacci Brown or Nachi Brown on Twitter. Also, make sure you pull up to EBL on April 14th. They are having a 3-round card Yes, EBL is bringing the 3-round battles back. I almost got out of here without mentioning that. Yes, going down April 14th. Battles are still being added to this card, but EBL, Exclusive Battle League, is bringing 3-round battles to you guys. I know a lot of times they are good for the audio battles, the really good one rounders, but starting in April, 3-round battles. These are going to be some good battles. I'm not going to give away any of the names on this card, but you will not be disappointed. You're never disappointed with an EBL card. So let me cut that out. But yes, coming April 14th, I believe the card starts at 8 p.m. So if you are putting it in your calendar, make sure you mark that down for April 14th, 8 p.m. EBL Exclusive Battle League 3-round card. I believe the card is called Finish Your Food. So if that's suggestive of maybe, some of these matchups should have happened, I don't know. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm thinking this is going to be a really good card. So make sure you tune in for that. Also head over to our friends over at Is We Pod, and they have a podcast called The Fourth Round. They have a bomb Danny Myers interview. They also have an amazing C3 interview. So make sure you check that out. Also, do you know I have a page called Fibonacci Brown on YouTube? Make sure you head over there. I'm going live from that page as well. So if you don't catch me on EBL Network, you can always catch me on Fibonacci Brown channel. So I am going to get out of here. I'll see you guys next Sunday, 6 p.m. We'll be right here. I missed you guys. It was great catching up with you, but we are out.
We appreciate everybody for stopping by. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. And don't just watch the battle. Be part of the battle. All you got to do, look in the description, click the link to the Discord, be part of the audience live.